Hello, good evening everyone. I hope I'm audible clearly. Okay, so I hope all of you are excited because today we are going to start the React and we'll have a look onto the React fundamentals. What is React? Yeah, good evening. Okay, so let's wait till others are joining, right? So I wanna see your excitement on to the chat box and reactions or to the YouTube. So yeah, good evening all. So I hope I'm not clearly audible today. Yeah, we'll start in a minute. So, React. I have a question like, how many of you are aware of React? Can anyone please tell me into the chat box? React, React. Just type React if you are excited for React. Good evening, good evening. So, today we are starting this React fundamentals, uh, where we are going to learn a lot of things about React. So, in this, uh, I don't have slides today because we are more focusing on practical and the workshop directly. So I hope all of you are excited. If show your excitement with by typing React into the chat box because I am continuously having look over to the chat box directly. Okay, cool. Okay, so yeah. Right now I'm sharing my screen. I think it's visible to you all. So we are here, and this is React.dev. Okay, this is a page of official React documentation or website. So let me tell you what React is. Okay, so React is a framework or a library to build web and native interface user interfaces, means web applications or native applications for iOS and Android. So today we are going to start the React. So we'll move ahead step by step. Okay. So there is a prerequisite just to install VS Code into your system if you have, because we today I'm going to demonstrate onto the VS Code itself. We'll have a look what are the components, how to create component, how to map data with the like React components, what are the props. Yesterday, as we have seen, like arrays and objects. So how we can like create array and objects in React and just populate the data dynamically into the React components and pages. Yeah, so this is react.dev. This is an official documentation for React. You don't need to go anywhere for like documentation because this is the good like and well architected documentation which we have till now. So today we'll start with step by step thing. I'll share my entire screen right now. Oh, it's visible, right? Okay. Allow me a minute. Okay, I'm sharing the screen. Okay, I hope it's visible. Okay, so yeah, this is React.dev, and we are onto this page. I'll start with a new project on VS Code. Uh, so yeah, we are going to create a new project. Before moving forward, we'll have a look onto the basic things which are needed to understand before starting this. So first thing is npm. Okay, so this is npm.js, which is a website where Node package managers are listed over here, and we use these packages in our React projects. So this is also we'll be going to use in our particularly project today. There are some libraries we are going to use from npm, and this is React.dev. Okay, so specifically for like the it's a library. Okay, and as we build the website in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, so those are the normal like web technologies we use. But using React is is an additional thing which you are doing as a web developer. Okay, because you particularly build components and populate that with the data, and it saves a lot of time of a developer. Okay, there are a lot of advantage which React gives to us, the components and state management and a lot of things. Yeah, so yeah, we'll create a React project. So how to create a React project? You can go to react.dev and go to the learn section, and here will be like for the installation there is a process to create start a new React project. So we'll start with our VS Code. Okay, so open your VS Code and open the terminal. Okay, once you are in the terminal, just check in which directory you are going to create your React project. So right now we are on to the home directory of my computer. I'll change the directory to desktop, cd desktop. Right now we are into the desktop, and you can see we have this projects over here. Okay, so I'll be going to create a new project right on the screen. Okay, so yeah, so for that we have a command npx create react app, and then we write the app name. So we'll write today's app name as, okay, React workshop underscore workshop. So as I have like created this React app, so it's installing some of the basic dependencies into the React project directly. So there is React, React DOM, and React scripts. So all of these are libraries and dependencies are getting installed into our React project directly from npm. So this is an executable command which creates the React app. So for creating React app, your system must have the npm installed and Node installed into your system. So for installing that, you need to go to node.node.js and go to the download section and install any installer like based on your system, Windows, Mac OS, or any. Like, once you are done with this, the npm will also get installed with the Node. Okay, so that's all. It takes a few minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, based on your internet connection. So it will automatically create the full packages and everything. So we'll open the folder which we have created on our desktop, React Workshop. Yeah, this one. Okay, so now you can see a lot of notifications are coming. Okay, now you can see we are done with our React project. So once we have in that terminal, once we have created that or once we have hit that command to just to create a React app, what was that command? Npx create React dash app, and there is app name means website name or web page name or web project name. whatever it is. So we use this command to create a project of React. So in this, right now, once we are done with this, it will automatically install all the libraries and dependencies into the node underscore module folder, which is a root library folder. So we are not going to code anything into this. Then there is one more folder which React has created, that is public folder, which consists the logo of our website, manifest.json, and the index.html. And after that, there is one more source folder is there. So in this source folder, in these app.js and index.js file, we are going to make changes. And as per our requirement, we'll make changes and develop the application alongside. Then again, we have two more files there. First one is packaged log.json and package.json. Uh, so in this package.json, our all project details are listed over here, like the project name, the version of it, then the dependencies which we are using or has been got installed, and the scripts we are going to use to run this application or to build this application. Okay, so and after that, we also have some of the development states, test, and everything we can mention into the package.json file. So for now, we'll be just looking forward to the dependencies and script. Okay, cool. So yeah, we have just created our React project, and for this, we just have to put a command which is npx. I'll I'll type the command into chat box. Npx create dash React app and then app name. Okay, so this is the command. Then yeah, so right now we are done with this. Now to start this application or to run this project, we'll again we'll be needing the terminal to start this project. So I'll type npm start. Okay, so you can see it asking this another port. Yeah, now you can see our app is running over here on localhost 3001. Okay, so this is our preview of like a template of our React application. It's a default template which React provides in the package. So to edit this, we'll just go to app.js, and in this app.js we'll be having all of these the code in JSX. Okay, so now what is JSX and what is particularly it seems like an HTML. So let's have a look onto the JSX. So I'll make some changes over here. I'll write some basic things into this directly. Okay. Open React app. So I made some changes and I hit it Control S, and then you can see the changes got reflected into the app. Okay, the React app. So this is like very easy to just to make changes into React app. It's not that much like hard because it's very easy, right? You just come to any component or any file and make changes in JSX, because JSX is much similar and uh, it's a templating language, you can say, like where you write JavaScript inside HTML. Okay, in JSX. So if I'm removing this anchor tag, so this link is also got disappeared, right? Again, I'm removing this whole line. So, you can see right now only the logo is there rotating. Now, in any React project, if you have to make changes, so you'll need to first configure your root of your application. Now, in this React project template, in the index.jsx, we have our root element. rendering the app component. Okay, so this app file, app.js file, is being rendered over here, right? In this root element. So if I'm removing this app, and you can see now the screen is black. It's blank right now. So this is a component, app component. If I want to render some other pages as well, I'll create one component. I'll just paste it over here. So it will render that one as well. Okay. So today we'll see the React fundamentals into this only in this app.js app component, right? Now this was about like editing this HTML because this is a JSX, not HTML. Okay. So you can see in our HTML page how we like link our CSS with our HTML page is using the link tag into the head element, right? But right now in this React, we import the CSS in our components and our React pages. So this is how we import, like the import, then the CSS path, and this CSS will be going to get imported with this. And you can see the CSS file is here, right? If I'm going to make changes into this CSS file, those changes will be gonna reflect over there as well. So let's make some changes. Now the background color is around like it's it's about gray or something. Right now we'll change the color to uh, pink. You can see the color is got changed. This this is how rapidly things are being reflected into React, right? Okay. So now I'll also make one change with this React logo. It's rotating too slow, right? I wanna like because the loop is out like for 20 seconds. I want it just for 2 seconds. Now you can see it's rotating so fastly, right? So this is how you can make changes into the React template, right? The basic React template. But what if I want to create my own like things into React? Okay, this was a just template, right? So I'll remove the whole CSS from this. I don't want this CSS because we'll write our own CSS for our React application. And I'll also remove this header and this div. So now before moving forward, just understand the syntax. Okay. So in the React application, we write the component because this app.js is also a component, and we need to export the component. Okay. So what we are doing, we are exporting the function, right? Now you can see there's a function called app. Okay. Then the function is returning something. So the function returns the JSX. What? The JSX. JSX means the templating, like the HTML templating. So I'll be writing div. So now we can see if I'm writing any h1 tag between this hello world, so this is getting reflected over here, right? So this is how it works, right? Now I have removed the full CSS, the whole CSS of that project, right? We don't have CSS in this app.css. It's a blank page, and we are also removing this, and we'll just remove everything from this, right? We just want this app component totally blank, so that's why we have removed everything, and we just have a div. Okay, so now this div is written in JSX. It's written in JSX. And what is JSX then? Because it's been 3 or 5 minutes I have been telling that JSX is something which where you can write JavaScript along with your HTML, right? So there's nothing apart from this. Okay. Still, I'll tell you the definition of JSX, right? Uh, so it's something like it's in a language or like a JavaScript language syntax, which specifically like used to write JavaScript along with the markup, right, which is HTML. So yeah, that is JSX. Right now, there's one more thing that you need to understand for in React is, so for component, for any component where you're like writing or building any component, you need a parent element. Okay. If you have more than one parent element returning into your JSX or your component, so it will throw an error. Let me show you. If I'm creating a div over here, so now it's throwing an error. Okay, what's that error is? You can even see adjacent JSX element must be wrapped in enclosing tag. There should have to be one enclosing tag, which is called as JSX fragment. So how we write JSX fragment? For writing the JSX fragment, we just use this, uh, the angle brackets. Okay, let me show you. So this is an error right now. So you can see it's showing that there is an error, compilation error is there, right? Because you will need to use a JSX fragment, means a parent element, okay, in the JSX elements, right? So all the JSX and elements should have to be enclosed and wrapped in between one single JSX uh, element, right, or fragment. So you can see now if I am like running this project, it's compiling properly with Webpack. So you can see now it's a blank one. There's not a single error over there, right? So for this, you must need to understand that for writing JSX, you must write the JSX inside of the JSX fragment or any one parent element such as div or something. So this is a JSX fragment where we write the angle brackets and closing the angle brackets with as a tag. So yeah, this is how we write the JSX fragment. Okay. So now I'll create a div, simple div, and this div I'll write an h1 once more. Hello, Google. Now you can see it's printing. It's this one, right? It's printing. So it was all about setting up a React project, and we have set up it properly. Now we'll deep dive into some other things which are needed and required for React, right? And which are important for React. So for that, I wanna tell you one thing, because as you are like in the workshop right now, so you must also try all of these things in your laptop alongside with the workshop or like after the workshop, and just try to drop your comments into the chat box or questions into the chat box so I can have a look over there. Okay, so yeah, now we'll go step by step. Okay, we have seen the JSX. Now we'll have a look on to the expressions, the JavaScript expressions in the JSX, like how we can write a JavaScript code directly into the JSX. We don't need to write a script tag. Okay, we don't need to write a script tag. There's no need to write a script tag because in the JSX you can directly write uh, the JavaScript, but in a syntax. Okay, let me show you what is the syntax. You'll need to use the braces, the curly braces, and you can write the JavaScript inside of this only. So if I am doing 4 plus 4, okay, so this will return 8. Okay, so you can see it's returning 8 over here, right? Uh, okay, so this is an expression. Okay, we did an algebraic expression over here inside of this code block. So you can write any code into this, right? Such as console.log, and I'm logging hello world, and let's check whether it's working or not. So yeah, see, it's consoling the hello world, right? So this is how we write the JavaScript inside of the HTML directly. We can even directly access the variables which we have created over here. So let's say I'm creating a variable, let name equal to Om Prakash. So this is the name, and I want to print this name in my website. So I'll just write. You can see now Om Prakash is written over there, right? Because what I did, I just call the variable, right, and the syntax of JSX where we do write the expressions. Okay, so we can do any kind of expression in between this JSX. We can also perform the conditional state like conditional constants inside of this JSX, right? So let's have an example of conditional one, right? So I'll create a variable which is okay, into apple is fruit. Now apple is a fruit is a variable, and I'm assigning the value as true. Okay, and I'll again create one more variable. Tomato is a fruit, and I'm going to make the value as false. Now we'll do some changes over here directly, right? See how we are going to do that, because I want to print if apple is a fruit. I just want to print if apple is a fruit, then only it should print apple over here, right? If it is false, then it shouldn't have to print this apple, right? So we'll do something, right, like this. In this div, are we going to write the code something like this? In this, there will be a ternary operator where we are going to use, right? A ternary operator, and inside of this ternary operator will perform our things, right? Okay, so see, if I am just taking the apple as a fruit. If the apple is fruit, it will print in H1 apple. Or if it is not a fruit, then it should print in this H1 tag heading 1 apple is not a. Okay, so see, it's printing apple because apple is a fruit. But if I change the statement from true to false, so it's printing apple is not a fruit. Okay, this is how the conditional statements work into the JS. Okay, this was a condition. It was checking whether it's true or false. If it is true, then it will going to print this, or if it is false, then it will going to print this. Okay, so same thing for the tomato as well. Okay, so we'll just check. Okay, so this will print tomato. Tomato is a fruit. If it is false, then it will print tomato is not a fruit. You can see tomato is not a fruit because this variable is false. Okay, and it's going to print directly this, not this. Okay, so this was a conditional statement we have used over here in JSX directly. So it was not that much like a lengthy thing. You need to understand the syntax of this writing JSX, right? You first need a fragment, a JSX fragment, and then you can write your JSX code and the JavaScript inside of these curly braces anywhere in between in between the fragment, right? Yeah, cool. So now we have seen the conditional constraints, and we can even use like whatever we know about the conditional things in JavaScript, like if else, right? We just have seen the ternary operator. We can use anything. So ternary operator is an alternative for our if else statement, right? So now we have seen the basics of a JSX, right? Let's have an introduction of components. Okay, so what are components? So this is a component. App.js is a component. Why it's a component? Because we are returning a JSX. Okay, we are returning JSX, and the function of this component is exported if this function is not exported, it's gonna throw an error. Okay, it's gonna throw an error something like this. In the index.js, the app is not founding. The module has not exports, right? Because we have imported this app component from uh, the app.js file, but it's not exported, then we'll be not even being able to import this component into our React application. So for the component, we'll need to export this component with this export default and then the component name. This is how a React component get exported, right? And it's exported and it's not showing an error right now. Okay, cool. So let's let's see what are the components. Right now we are just going to use this fragment, and we are going to create different components for different uses and different things into the React. Because even yesterday we had created like date and time calculator clock or something. We'll also do same things in React as well. Okay, so now I'm going to create a new file folder. I'll create a so for creating the components, I'll create a folder and I'll just components. What is components? So this is a folder. I'm going to create all the components inside of this. Now there are some rules to create a component. So why to use a component? Let me tell you after creating a component, right? Okay, so we are going to create a file and we'll name this component as okay list. Okay, student list dot js. So I've written the component file name as studentlist.js, and in this I'll be going to like write the component. Okay. So in normal HTML CSS, you write code multiple times for a single thing, right? For a single card or something, right? Let's have an example, something like this. So if you want to create a button or a link like this, so you'll need to write this code multiple times, right? But in the React, when you are using component, you'll just create a component of this and you'll map the component according to the data into a web page. Okay, so let's come over here and let's write our component and everything over here right now. We'll also create a CSS file for this component, student list.css, and we'll be going to use this CSS file for styling our student list component, right? So for that, I'm going to import this CSS right now, okay, directly from our student. I can even directly write this student list.css. Okay, 1 minute. Okay. If you have any question, just ask in the chat box. Okay, I hope I'm audible right now. Okay, so cool. Yeah, I was just waiting, right? Okay, so I think I'm audible right now clearly. Okay, so cool. So see, what we did right now is like we have created a component called student list. Okay, so this is a component function. Okay, so until unless we are not exporting this function, the component function, this will be not going to get imported in any React component or file, right? So this is space like I have commented some things over here. Here we import our module CSS and any libraries directly over here with the import command, and we write the function, and the function name should have to be same as we have the file name. Okay, so if it is a capital student list, so this also should have to be a capital student list. Okay, then we have this the JavaScript code, the native JavaScript code will write over here only, and then whatever we are going to return into the UI, okay, the JSX, the HTML, right? JavaScript XML code will write over here, and in this braces we do write our JavaScript logic or like conditional expressions and JavaScript expression between these braces, right? Then we have the export thing. So we do export our component directly with this command export default student list. So this will be a default component. When we'll be having the multiple components, so we just export default one component as a default component with respect to the file name. And if we are having more than one component, so that another component will be directly just export and directly the function. Okay, so this is how a structure of a component file look like, where we have a function, component function, where we import the files and where we export the function, right? Cool. So this was a simple syntax. I hope all of you understood. So just drop into your chat box if you have any question and all. Okay, cool. Right now, we'll write code. We'll start writing the code. Okay. So I'll return I'll write a JSX fragment. So this is a JSX fragment, and inside of this we'll write our code. We are going to create a student list. Okay, what we are going to create a student list. So this this will be going to have the student list item in this only, and will do make changes inside of it directly dynamically with the props, right? So after this, I'll create a div, and yeah, in this div, we'll create a UL, which is an unordered list. So you can see now in our React application, it's a blank one because we have just written the code, but we have not exported this app.js into the app.js. Okay, so I'll write a list item li, and inside of this, I'll write student, okay, home Prakash, age 20. So still it's not visible because we have not imported this component. We need to import this component in our parent component, right? So we have app.js and we'll import this student list, right? Student list. So this is imported right now. You can see Om Prakash is printed over here. This is how like things works over here, right? So now you can see the Om Prakash is printed, right? So now what we'll do, we'll make changes into the student list component. That those changes will be going to get reflected automatically over there. So if I want to like specifically add multiple students, so I'll need to like copy and paste or copy or paste this li this list item multiple times. Then only it's gonna print the number of students. But with the help of this uh, React component, we don't need to write a single code multiple times. This is an advantage. If we have any components, we can like use that component multiple time as as per our need, right? So it was all about that, right? I'll just remove all of this student list. Okay. Now we'll create an object as we did yesterday. And yesterday we have used the for each for printing the students, but today we'll use the list item, okay, to print this, right? Now here we'll write the JavaScript code. I'll be going to create a let student list data equal to. Now in this there'll be a array of objects. So first object will be there. We'll write name of the student as home, age as 20. Okay, this was for the first student. We'll just copy and paste this student. We'll just change the name. I'm going to create 5 student, home 1, home 2, 3, 4, and the fifth one. Okay. So I have a data of student into this array of object, and in this only we are going to make changes, right? Okay. So now we have that right now. I'm going to map the student data, right? So for that, we'll use the student list data dot map property into the JSX, okay, JavaScript, okay, where we use the syntax of this, right? In this way, you do right. Okay. So now we'll map the data with the uh, array of like with the list item. So this will gonna add all of this 5 ohm list item into this, right? So for that, you can even take the reference of React website. Even in this website, the documentation they have shown an example of mapping, how we can map uh, the data, right? So here's an example of it. You can even take it right. So yeah, where a student list data dot map. So this is a function to map the data. So in this as well, like where they have these 2 videos data, okay. They then they have mapped it, okay. So we'll create a arrow function as student. So this will be an arrow function, and this it's going to particularly return the JSX directly, okay, inside of that, right? Because it has it's again like they have created one more component over here in this, but we don't have a component. We just have the list item in our uh, code. So we use li, okay. And in this, we what do you want? We want the name of the student, right? So we'll just write student dot name, okay. So this will gonna, okay, we need to import this. So this will be gonna return the name of the student, right? Only the name of the student directly. We needed the age, so we'll use the key as age, because yesterday we have seen to access the key and the like the particular key value pair. So we use 2 types of like syntax. We can even write the key age or name over here as well, and we can even use the dot to access the key of any object. Okay, hope you are understanding the concept of React. This is the basics, because if we know mapping, so we can easily like populate the data dynamically in the components and in different web pages. Okay, cool. So as how we can, if we want the age, so we'll use the age over there. If we just want the uh, if we just want the particular name, so we'll just use the name, right? This is how we can do, and even right, I can even take this out of this line now. So right now we have this list has blah, and we'll also add one more uh, thing into this because it's a student data. We'll add college as Google University. So I'll just copy this and paste in our each object. Okay, so I'm done with this. I think we can even like we can even do the simple things that yesterday which we had done. We can even console this data into the log directly, student list data, so you can see all the 5 students will be in this array, right? Okay, the Google University name 1 2 3 4 5, everything is right there, right? So it is that. This is particularly how we map the component, right? let's let's come on to this and complete that mapping section, right? So we have student list data dot map. We need to write this in the JavaScript, right? Syntax. It's student list data dot map, and inside of this we'll create a key, right? And we'll take that key with arrow function, right? So student, this is our arrow function, and here we'll be going to specifically use this li. You only want that the student dot name here. Now we have exported this, we have used it over here, right? what what's not written there? I'll restart the application. Yes, restarted. There's a warning coming over here, right? This is a warning, array dot prototype map, arrow function. Okay, 1 minute, we'll fix it, right? So one more thing I wanted to tell you, for debugging React, you must install the for debugging the error, you must install this extension called React Dev Tool. So you can directly use this to understand the component structure, even the props, and even debug the everything. Right now you can see we have this student list rendered over here. It rendered, but the list is not rendering. We are going to figure out why it's not rendering. So we can have the debugging thing over here. We can even like do a lot of things with this, right? Okay, so yeah, so it's showing that this is our student list data, and what the warning over there is, student Okay. Okay. We'll use a key, right? We can use directly the student key, right? Even because see what we exactly do in our code over here, because we are mapping the data with the database, right? With the our area of object, right? Because we want the student list to get printed over here, right? So for that, you must try to debug this, right? Because these are the errors which are going to come on your side as well, right? One minute. We are trying to fix this, and okay, allow me a minute. Okay, we'll come on this later. Okay, change the ID as WebStorm. We'll open this project in different ID right now. Uh, on this desktop, and where we have the project. Yeah, this React workshop. Stop this terminal. Where is the terminal? Stop. Yeah, cool. Here we can do things right directly over here. npm start. We want this on another port. It's running on 301, where we have the component and the student list component. Yeah, cool. In this component, we'll be having the list directly, right? The UL. Sorry, we want that to get mapped, right? And you can see it's mapped as we did earlier, right? The same thing, but we must return the index number as well, right? And this, as I was trying to write the index number over there, right? Now you can see it's returning this name, age, and college into a list. Okay, so you have seen like what I did right now. I've just written this li, right, the list item at once. Okay, it's populating the data dynamically on multiple time, right? We are not specifically writing the code right one time, but it's automatically getting written over there, right? Okay, so this is how it works of mapping function. So we have seen the mapping in React because it's very important, because we do map a lot of things. But now what we'll do, we'll create one more component called as student card, student card dot js. Now this component will have a look on, in this component will have a look onto the prop. Okay, what is prop and how we use it, right? So as we have been using this, okay, over here to just to reflect or populate the data into the component. So in this we are going to use the student card to populate the student data. For this, for creating a component, we write the name function, and we write the student card name, and then we we are going to, yeah, this is a simple function which is for a component. For this, we'll export this component as default student card, and right now you can see in this we'll return this component as list item, and now we're going to use the css. Okay, so for in the JSX we have class, we will need to use class name for like not class. We'll need to use class name attribute to just to uh, assign in the value of a class to this. Okay, so I'll write the student card as the class name, and right now I'm going to create a CSS file for this student card dot css. Okay, so we did this. We are into this, and I'm going to write the CSS for student card. Okay, so now this card will have a background color as sky blue or aqua or something, right? And we'll add a border to it. Okay, we'll add a border radius to this. Okay, now you can see we are done with our CSS, right? But we need something into this card. Okay, so it's blank card, so we'll do one thing. I'll write the student name directly over here, and we just want the name. Okay, name, and the name will be Salman. Okay, written this name. Now we'll use this component over here into the student list dot js directly, and यहाँ पे हम उसको यूज कर लेंगे स्टूडेंट कार्ड को स्टूडेंट कार्ड. Now this component is there, right? The component is there. That's why it's returning the name and Salman. Okay, now you can see in the React DevTools as well. It's showing the hierarchy app, then student list, then student card is there, right? So now we want this data to get mapped. Which data? The student list data. This one, right? To get mapped with that. So we'll pass a a property, right? It's as data equal to. Now in this we'll pass the data, right? Student list data. Now we are passing this data to this component. So this is an advantage of like React have props, states, and all. So we don't need to take a lot of efforts, right? So I'm passing the data from this component to this card component, right? And now what I'll do, I'll just use the map function as we did earlier, right? Okay, you can even do something like this. So I'll take the data over here right now, the data, the student data, whatever is coming over there, we can return it right directly. So we'll need to map this, right? We have not mapped it, right? So data map student, and then this will need to map this, right? It's showing some errors, so let's find this out. Okay, so it's about return. Okay, we can return like this. It's because of that auto. There's a feature of like autopilot, right? We have already returning this, and we just want to map this data as we did over here into student list.js. In this you can see in this earlier what we had used the student list data map and then index, then we have returned this, right? We can even do this in this return statement directly, but yeah, let's do it by ourselves only, right? We don't want this autopilot. Okay, so we'll return. Okay, now we return the directly the it's, we don't want your response, so it's li Let's close this tag. Index, take the index directly, and with the reference of that only, we'll come on to it, right? Here he's use that one, right? Student name. On this li, it's removed our fragment directly. So this is our fragment, which is the important one, and then we have this where we are going to like list our list key of it, and then the student name, age, and the college directly. Okay, we'll even take the reference of this as well directly over there, right? Into this, just out of the box. We have this data. Oh, it's again going to return the same thing, right? But I want the class name over here, which we are using class name, which is the what was that class name? Student card, right? Student card. So it is like this student card. So yeah, now you can see in the elements. Let's check whether it's rendering with this element. In the student list, we want that particular component of student card. Where is the student card? Yeah, let's fix. So it's showing data.map is not a function because we are not passing the data over here. We need to pass the data equal to student list data. Now we'll refresh this. So yeah, we're into this and we're going to come over here. Now we have the student card on this list item, and we have made some changes into this. The 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 only uh, let me show you. It's not really a component, right? We want to import the CSS directly into this. Import what we want is the CSS only. Uh, that CSS is the student card list.css, and we have imported the CSS now. And yeah, we are again into this, but it's not entering the component. Let's check. So in the student list, and there is it's returning this student list.js. We have passed the data. Okay, and again in this card we are taking the data from here, so we need to write in this format. And now we can see we have the student list in a color format, right? Okay, so this was about like uh, we can create the component, we can like populate the data dynamically, right? So as we did right over here, so if I'm changing anything into this array of objects, so that will be going to get reflected directly into the student card.js, because we have passed a prop, right? We have passed data through the prop. So the prop name is data over here. So with this, right, with this, we have just called the property over here, and we have just mapped the property with this. Okay, so let's again modify a few things into this. So I don't want that particular list style. Okay, so I'll just remove the list style as none. So the dots are not there. Okay, I also want some of the padding and a margin to this, right? I'll make the width as fit content, and I'll add the padding as 20 px or something. Now you can see this is something like this. Okay, looking like this. Okay, so now what we want is like the margin as 10 px from all sides. So yeah, you can see now the cards are looking much more good, right? And we want this list in center. Okay, so uh, we'll make it as display flex first, and we'll also take the text align into the center first. So the text are in center in this list. Okay, and now we'll create one. Now we'll take one more CSS class as student. Okay, list group. So we'll create that into this list student list.css list group. Okay, so this is the class name where we are going to particularly write the CSS for that, and we are just import. We are just taking this class name, and this the class name will be list group, right? So I'll just refresh this, and into this we'll be going to have all of these things. We will take a background as green. So the background for the list group will be uh, green only, right? For that we'll need to import this CSS into the student list component. So I'm going to remove this. So this is not this. We'll also need to import that one as well, I think. Import student the CSS which is student list, right? Student.css. Now you can see we have the uh, like we have these items as card, right? Okay, is that cool? I want to see your chat reactions into the chat box. I want to see your reactions right now. Okay, just drop your comments and reactions over there in the chat box. Okay, cool. So this is how we can create a component pass the data through the property. So what we did, I'll explain you. We have created an array of object first, and we have the array of object of length of 5. We have 5 student list into this, and then we have created a component called student card, and we have passed the data with the prop. And in this we have passed data we have passed variable over there directly, and we have uh, directly accessed the data of the prop right into this student card function, the component function directly. Okay, so then we have mapped the data, and in this we have mapped the data with this, like we have created a li, which is a list item, and in this list item we have named the class named as student card, and we have customized the css for the student card. Okay, because of that the card color is this, and we can also do few things, right? Into this, right? Let's make it much more cool. So I'm using student card, and I'm adding a state as over. Okay, and I want whenever I am hovering that card or something, so the state of this uh, card should have to be here, like the color should change, right? You can see right now it's changing the color, right? It's changing the color, right? And I want the font size to be increased when I'm hovering onto this, right? So what I'll do, I'll change the font size to 30 px or something directly, right? You can see now it is it seems to be more cool animating or something, right? So we can even add few more things into this directly. So I'll change the font family, right? I'll change the font family to any other font. So I'll just use this expressive. You can see the font is getting changed, right? Okay, isn't it cool? Just type into the chat box. Like, isn't it cool? Like, it's being much more like it's very easy to do, right? We are like just playing with the CSS, and that's all. So this was all about using CSS into the React and mapping the data into the React. We did mapped the data, and let's do some operations with the states directly. Okay, now we'll have a look onto our last topic, which is React states, which is in a fundamentals, right? We have seen prop, okay, creating component, and let's have a look onto React state. So I'll create a component called React state. App.js. Now in this component will work only. I'm going to app.js. I'm removing this student list because we don't want this. Uh, the screen will be blank right now. And in the student, in the React states, we'll write our function, and the function name will be React state. Uh, okay. For creating state in React, we'll need to use we'll need to import the React state directly. But before uh, moving forward, you must understand what is state. Okay, so state is nothing but a variable. State is like particularly it's maintain the states into a different variable. So we can change the value of state meanwhile into the program of any state variable, and also we initialize the value into the initial phase of that like state. Okay, so for that we use import state from React. Okay, we want to use import. So first it will return this only. So we'll export this component function, export default at React state, and this is gonna be printed directly React state. Use this only. So it's printing React state over here. And today we'll create a simple form which is going to print a message or something on click. Okay, so we'll also have a look on events in React. Okay. Okay. So in the React state, right now we have just created an H1 element. I'll write an inline CSS and I'll just take the text alignment as text align center. Oh, sorry. You can use like this. Right? Do your CSS class name. Yeah, we use the heading and we'll directly use this student card.css into this, right? We want to use that only, and we're going to change that one, right? So I'm going to create, write the CSS directly with the selector. This is the dot selector. We are selecting the class, right? So what is that class is heading? I'll take the text align as center. So the text is in center right now. We'll take a little bit of margin, okay, of 20 px. So it will be in a little bit of like downside only. Okay, we'll increase the font size to 40 px. Okay, now it's bigger. Now what we'll do is we'll do some changes into this only directly. Okay, just understand how we are going to do this. So on click, we are going to change states into React. Okay, so for that you can come to react.dev and you can search over here state. You can see these are the state variables shown over here, right? Okay, so it's a components memory where we specifically store some data for a temporary time. Okay, so for that we need to use state from React or something. This is how we import this. Now we are going to make some changes over here. So we'll create a form. We'll create a form, and in this form I'm going to uh, take the name of the user only, right? I'll add an ID to this student name. So this is an ID, and now in this you can see there is enter your name is there and the student name is there, right? We'll also give it a class name as student form. Okay, now it's as a student form. We'll use this and we'll write the CSS inside of this student list.css. It's a dot selector, and in this we'll write the CSS. Now you can see this form has a little bit of CSS, right? I'm going to write the name and submit it. What I want is when I'm submitting this form, the name should print over here directly in a bigger one, right? So for that we'll create the state. Okay, so this is the state variable, and with this variable we can set the data to the name. Okay, and we can even assign the initial value. So in the initial value we'll assign the hello world directly. So for that we'll print the name, so it's printing the hello world, right? So I'm going to take HR horizontal row. After this we'll create a div where we are going to preview the student details only, right? Now I'm going to add a class name as student details form. Now for this we'll write a little bit of CSS. So in this we do write the CSS. I want the background color as yellow, okay, purple. I want this background color, and the text color will be white. Padding is there, a little bit of border radius is there, then margin width and display flex. Okay. So now this is uh, the div is there, and now we need to write the main code inside of this. So it's okay. So student detail will print the student name or something. Oh, the student is right, and we want the text align as center. So the name will be here, right? Student name. So initially the student name is, what is the student name is? Hello world, right? But on submit of this form, will have to change the name. Okay. So we'll update the state of the student name, right? So we can even use the event on change. On change, we can directly change the value of set student name equal to. Okay, we can even take student name value directly set to over here, and we can create a function. So we'll create a function change student name. Okay, we'll create a function. Okay, change change student name or something, right? Now on change or on click of that particular button or something, right? On change of this, we can directly update this, right? So if I'm writing Salman, so you can see in the downside the name is getting printed, right? So I'll increase the size of the text, right? Font size, we want as 30 px. So this is now the bigger one, and we'll change the font family as well. Mm, I'll take any one of the form something. Okay, the Times Roman. Yeah. So you can see the hello world is there, but when I'm changing the name will be getting changed, right? Google. So it's getting printed. How it's happening? Because I have like took the on change event over there. So what it's doing, what's happening over there is like when I'm changing this, it's taking the event and taking the value of the event, right? So if I want this to be on click of this submit button, so on click, and now we'll write this function change student name. Okay, and in this we'll do one thing. We can take we can do one thing like, okay, document dot get element by id of student name, and then we can do, right? See, Google, when submitting the Google is there, right? I'll okay, meta, now I'm submitting the form, meta is there, right? Okay, so this is how we handle the events in the React and the states in the React. I hope all of you got this, right? Is there any doubt into this? I want to see your reactions into the chat box right now. Just drop your reactions, or like any, if you have any doubt. I want your reactions directly over here. So tell me if you have any doubt or something. So we'll have a look onto that directly, or if you want something, yeah. And finally, we'll create a clock over here. So we'll create a clock yesterday as we did. So yeah, I'll like as we have this workshop for 6 days now. So I'll push all the codes on GitHub, and I'll share you the repo at the end of these like the 6 days, right? It's okay, don't worry. I'll be going to share you the GitHub codes, right? The GitHub repo. Okay, so as we did this simple thing, so we'll create a clock, and this will be the last of topic of today. So in that clock, we'll also use the state. We'll also use a lot of things, right? So I'll clock JS. So in this component, we'll for this we'll create a clock CSS, right? Clock.css. Now in this, I'm writing a function which will be a clock. Yeah, cool. Now in this, uh, it's giving me a time or something, right? So we'll try to use this first. Okay. I think it's okay. We'll export this directly, and we'll import React. It's autopilot on, right? I'm just checking this one. So we'll go to app.js and run this clock component, right? Yeah, you can see now the clock is over there, right? But what we are going to do today is, because this is an auto written code, right? It's same as we did, but it's in the React effect and the states, right? It's setting the time directly with the set timeout. Yesterday we used the set interval function, right? So it's doing the same thing, but it's setting the time uh, every second into the states, right? And it also clearing the interval after completing that. So we'll do one thing. We'll do a CSS to this block, a little bit of CSS. Okay, cool. Now we're going to import the CSS, import block CSS. You can see the clock is in the center right now, and the time is getting changed, right? Changing automatically. So I'll explain you the code as we have seen the states, right? Okay, so here we have the state variable, the time and set time. So first it's using the current time. First it's setting the current time into this with the states, and then it have created a function called interval, and in that particular variable it's running an arrow function of set interval, and in this it's changing the state time uh, with the local date time string, right? And after this it have a delay of 1 second, and it's returning the function directly over there. So once on every second it's updating the time. uh, okay, on every single second it's updating the time directly, and it's something into this div. uh, we are directly using the variable to show the time. Okay, so this is how it works. I hope all of you understand. I'll make a GitHub repo and I'll share you by the end of this week. So I hope you are like engaging with this. And from tomorrow, we'll have a look on to the fundamentals of Node.js, MongoDB, and the Express. Are you excited for that? If you are excited, I want to see your reactions over there. Just right now, just right now, your reactions over there onto the chat box. And for tomorrow's session, are you excited for Node and all? Because we have seen the React fundamentals till now. Okay, cool. Everyone, those are present into this like live right now, just type Node.js, Node.js, Node.js or something. So I'll have a look. Type right now because I'm having a look onto the chat box directly. I want your reactions. Cool. Okay, so yeah, tomorrow we'll have a look onto that. But if you have question in React or React fundamentals, just ask me into the chat box. I'll uh, help you out there. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope all of you understood the concepts of like the basics of React and all. See you tomorrow then. Bye. Have a good day.